So again, we've got another session here at Queen's Park Rangers in England. What I will do is I'll play this one through. Now, this particular one is on possession and transition. Again, while you're watching this, if you've got any questions that you would like to ask about this particular session, if I don't cover it, guys, drop it in the questions and ask me, okay? So within this session, we've got a 30 by 20 pitch. We've got a goal that side, and we've got a goal that side. You'll notice the coach has got them set up into 3 teams. We've got the orange team, the pink team, and the black team. The idea with this game is you'll see the black are in possession here. The black are then going to try and get it down to the other end, to the pink, and they're going to try and keep possession away from the oranges. If the oranges win possession, they're able to try and score in either of the goals. So what we're working on here is possession. We're working on things like 1 touch and 2 touch. We're working on creating and finding space, but also we're working on communication. Also, the beauty of this game is as well, the oranges are motivated to play in the game. So if the oranges win the ball, they can score in either goal. The idea for the opposition teams, the pink and the black, is to try and win possession back. So now you'll see the blacks are trying to win the ball to score a goal. The oranges and pinks are trying to keep possession. Also, what they're trying to do is transition from one side to the other. Great goal from the blacks there. So oranges are now defending, which means if they win the ball, the oranges are trying to score. So blacks are in possession. They're going to now try and find the pinks up the other end. If the oranges win it, they can try and score a goal. So pinks are trying to find the black. Well done. Oranges are trying to win this ball back to see if they can score a goal. Ball's out of play and they reset. Okay, so this is a great one. And again, from the ages with this one, this can be worked on probably with any age group really. You could go with 7s and 8s with this one. What I am going to do is I'm actually going to walk you through a couple of the variances that we could do on this one. So I am just going to pull up on the whiteboard. So possession and transition. So we've got the P's for the pinks, the O's for the orange, and then we've got B's for the black. Now with the numbers, this is a great one because one of the problems that a lot of coaches get at training is, and more so if you're not at like an elite level, top professional academy, you'll get a lot of time like players are missing and you might get 13 to train and you might get 11, you'll get an odd number. Odd numbers are actually really, really fun, and this is a really good way you could work on this. So as an example on this one, what we're saying is we're going to say the pinks and the blacks are going to work as one team, and they are going to try and just keep possession, okay? Now, with the oranges, if they win the possession, they need to try and score in either goal. And if they score, they might get 2 points. Now, again, you can set this to whatever you want, okay? Now, what you would do with this one, my recommendation would be to mix the rolls up. You might look to go in 60 to 90 second intervals. So it's short and sharp, okay? What it'll do is it's going to force the oranges to work hard for 60 to 90 seconds. And when they win the ball, what we're looking for them to do is to try and score as quick as they can. So do we want the orange to build up possession and try and spring, 3 to 4 passes before they try and score? No. Soon as the orange win possession, if they've got a clear sight on goal, we want them to shoot. We want them to take the opportunity fast. It's like in a game. If you're playing in a game and you win a ball, you don't want to then try and nullify the opposition with 6, 7, 8, 9 passes. You want to try and spring that pass to a teammate. Now, when we're talking about scoring a goal in these goals here, either end, this might not necessarily be a goal when you're playing a full-size match. That goal that you're shooting into actually might be you releasing the ball out the midfield into an attacking area. So we might actually work out that this zone that we're playing in might replicate later on. It might just be in the midfield area. So you can get real technical with this, and you can have midfielders against midfielders, or you can just have everyone involved. So remember, we're going to give them 60 to 90 seconds. Then what we're going to do is you might want to enforce, and this is a great one. You might then say, right, you've got 10 seconds, okay? Oranges, you're now going to be with the black team, and pinks, you are now working on your own, and you're going to try and win the ball back, okay? Another great thing that you can do within this game, if the pink and blacks build up 10 consecutive passes, they will score 1 point. Or again, you can set this up any way you like. Now, one of the big things that I want to reiterate, and this is for the coaches watching this, what you'll notice with the coach was here. What's the one thing you could tell me that the coach had next to him, and he had lots of them? And hopefully you're all shouting at the screen. Balls, he did. He had about 6 or 7 balls next to him. And the rule of this game is, every time the ball goes out to play, this is a great thing that you can add in, okay? The first player to communicate gets the ball. So how do they communicate? They run towards the coach. Yeah, I'm free. Yeah, I'm free. Play the ball, play the ball. The coach will then feed the ball to that player who asked for it. Now, if it's an orange player, soon as he or she gets the ball, what can they do? They can shoot, okay? It's quite simple. They can shoot straight away. So at the end of that 60 to 90 second game is over here, once that's up, very quickly, the coach can call out one colour and say, pinks, collect all the balls and kick them back into me as fast as you can. Off you go. But as a coach, my recommendation would be as well, you explain this at the beginning. When you're hitting the balls back to the coach, there's no high balls and all the balls are low on the ground, and it's got to be drilled in at a decent pace to the coach. That way then the game can get going. So when we're talking about possession and transition, again, if you've got this set up properly and you've got 2 goals, a small pitch, you've got pink bibs, orange bibs and black bibs, or whatever way you work out your colours for your training nights, all you need to do to explain to your players, it's quite simple. We're going to play this particular game, 2 teams, pink and black, you're going to be in possession. All you need to do, if you've got the ball, hit 10 passes together as a team, and you are going to get 1 point. So the first thing that we're working on when we look at this is passing. Then the second thing we're working on is movement. And the third thing we're working on is communication. And the fourth thing we're working on is transition. Now, what transition looks like in this game is you want to encourage as a coach, not right at the beginning, but if you don't see it happening, stop it in between when the clock stops, pull them all in, give them a quick drinks break, and while they're having a drink, that's where you've got your moment to be your Jose Mourinho. That's where you can become Carlo Ancelotti, okay? Don't coach for 16 minutes, then get it going again, then give them a drinks break, okay? You need to maximise your time on the pitch. You maximise your time on the pitch and let the players play the game by calling a drinks break, tell them they've got 60 seconds to get the drinks bottles and to get into you as fast as you can. The only noise you want to hear is them sipping on the bottles, and you've got your 60 seconds to be Jose Mourinho. And what you should be telling them should be simple instructions. Well done. The passing's good. The team who wins the ball, who's trying to score, I want to see you take your chances earlier. But one thing I want to touch on will be when you're playing a pass, so when pink is playing the ball to a black player there, okay, I need you as the pink player to not stay in that space. Once you've made the pass, the rule is you've got to move, and that's movement. So then the pink then has got to find a new space, and the pink will go to there. Okay, drinks break over, back in you go. Oranges and blacks, you're going to be a team. Pinks, you're trying to score. Throw a ball in, let's play, and then off we go, okay? It should be that simple. Now, also, what are we working on for the team when they win the ball? Well, they are working on what we call low numbers because they are at a numerical disadvantage because it's 4 to 5 against 10. Does that happen in games? It does. Also, they're working on pressing. What are they pressing? They're pressing the player. They're pressing the space. They're pressing to win the ball. And then the final thing that they're working on is shooting. Now, at no point when I coach this would I be going into a Jose Mourinho masterclass talking about the art of passing, the art of movement, the art of communication. You don't need to. It's all in there. What I want you to do as a coach is to be doing this. You should have a whiteboard, you should have a piece of paper and a pen, or maybe one of these electronic whiteboards that I've got, the Remarkable. And while you're watching it going on, I want you to honestly evaluate your team and go, okay, as a coach, I'm noticing we're not passing and we're not moving enough. And this is why the session doesn't look that good. So what you can do is you can stop the session, go and have a drinks break, and then pull it back a level. And I'll give you an example of what you can do, okay? I'll just clear there's a little bit of space here, and you can come back on the tape and rewind this and screenshot this section if you need it, but I'll just get rid of this. Now, this is fine to do this. If you're finding that passing and movement is not really happening, this is what you can do. And I'll give you a little example. You could set up a cone here. You could set up a cone there. And you could have player A, player B, and player C. Now, player A starts with the ball. They make a pass across to C. And then they follow the pass across. And then C makes a pass to B, and then they follow the pass across. Now, that is the most simple passing and movement drill you can do. And while you're in this drill with them, you can say to them, look, when we were over here in this section here doing this part of the session, communication was good, the pressing was good, the shooting was good, but we're working on possession and transition, and to be really good at possession and transition, I really, really want to enforce passing and movement. Now, what you can do is you can now spend 7 to 10 minutes in here, give them another drinks break, and then go back into this section. There's nothing wrong with doing this. One of the big bits of advice I could give coaches all around the world: make sure when you're coaching, don't be scared to challenge players. My biggest concern is when you do a session and the players do it perfectly. And that to me is when it's too easy. And when it's too easy, I have what we call, it's a red flag for me. And I get really worried when I see sessions look picture perfect. Because one thing it tells me it's not challenging the players. And when they're not being challenged, they are not being developed. And this is the number one thing that should be on your mind. You do not want to see red flags because it's too easy. I'd rather see your 8, 9 and 10-year-olds trying this and struggling with it and it looks a mess, because you can always pull them back into this little mini drill, and most 7 and 8, 9-year-olds can do this, okay? And then it's always good to drop them back in. So hopefully you enjoyed that session on possession and transition. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and remember, if you're looking for any of these again, I'll drop you back in. You can come into the Pathway Pro program, go into Classroom, okay? Go into section 10, the dugout, and if you look under Premier League sessions, you will see we've got them in here. We've got ones pass, turn and move, possession and transition, fast feet, multi-touches. Okay, there's a whole heap of Premier League sessions here. There's enough sessions for you to run a whole season, because as you've just seen on this board here, if you do this properly and we do this particular part, let's call this section 1, in what we say isolation, that means we're isolating passing and movement. Then we go down to section 2, and that's where we let the game be the teacher, okay? You could refine this over and over again. You could drill them on this 1 to 2 times a week, especially the younger age groups, and you'll know what you're looking for is the red flag. And once you see the red flag, and the red flag is when it looks too easy and they're doing it with ease. Now, there's other ways you can do this as well. A final one is change the conditions of the game. And how you can change it, if you're finding that, let's say the orange team are trying to win the ball and they're struggling, what we could do is we could take this player and this player out the game, and we could add in 2 extra orange players. Now all of a sudden we've now got 6 orange players in there. And again, if they're still struggling, you could take out another pink and another black player, and you can add in 2 extra players. So all of a sudden we've got 8 players trying to press against 6 players. So all of a sudden we've turned it into an 8 versus 6 in your favor. Okay, now you can change and modify these rules, but also we don't want the team in orange to be getting too much success. And people always ask me, what's the balance? And I'm going to show you before we finish this call, what is the balance? And for me, the balance is this. I want to see my players being successful 40% of the time. I want to see my players being unsuccessful 60% of the time. I want to slightly edge it in the failing rather than being successful, because what that's going to do is it's going to turn your boys and girls in your squads into real ultimate players, because they're used to getting success but only 40% of the time, but they're getting struggles 60% of the time. What that does up here, it creates hunger to be successful. You don't want it the other way. You don't want it to be 60% where they get success or higher, because that hunger goes. And people tell you, oh, you can't drive hunger in a player, you're either born with it or you're not. Absolute, utter nonsense and baloney. Okay, motivation is driven into players if you understand here on how to set the environment, and we've spoken about the environment. So hopefully you enjoyed that one.